Hello and welcome back into the garden. Starting here, seeing our fuzzy bee friend. Today is a very special gathering because we are going to create a delicious salad dinner out of mostly things from the garden together. We'll come on over here to our radishes. Look at these radishes. This was the star of one of our first videos together, our radishes. They were tiny little babies. And now they have grown up so big. It happens in the blink of an eye. But really, radishes do. They grow fairly quickly, 45 days. They grow from little seeds to a full-blown thing you can eat. And they have just done so good over here, and it's time to harvest them. Which is great because, as you can see, they are growing in front of our tomato plant, which is just fine because now it's time for us to harvest. I did plant more radishes. Remember when we first gathered around the radishes and thinned them out? Spicy little babies. They are very peppery, and so we're going to enjoy that today in our salad. And we're not just going to harvest the radishes together, which is really, really special. I didn't want to do that without you guys. But we're going to pull some other really delicious things from the garden, and we're going to flavor pair because radishes, again, are very spicy. So you can see this baby right here. Let's take a deeper look. And you'll wait until radishes are about an inch in diameter. Can we see her? There we go. And that's when you'll want to harvest them. And today we're just going to harvest what we need for our salad. Starting with this first one in front. Oh wow. Oh wow. So beautiful. And we're also going to make our salad with the radish greens. We're going to move over here. So as you can see, it's pretty dense, so the process of thinning just continues. Oh, look at this guy here. And when we thin, the ones that are a little more packed in there will get all the sun and they'll grow big and fat. The big reveal, wow. Alright, I'm going to keep searching through this little plot of radishes. And then I'll take you on to the next ingredient, which is kale. And kale greens, just like radish greens, a little bit goes a long way for me. It's not my favorite. Kale is not my favorite. I don't know anyone who says kale is their favorite. But I'm just going to take 2 leaves off here. You know what? Just 1. Like I said, a little goes a long way. And then our next ingredient, a few of these beautiful basil leaves. Basil is a spicy but sweet flavor, which helps to add to the experience, but that's not all. The next ingredient is going to be fennel. Fennel. I'm going to make a special salad dressing with you guys too. So I have all of these flavors, all of the flavor pairings in mind as I'm selecting my ingredients. So for fennel, I'm just going to snip off this little baby here. Just a couple of these mint leaves. Some wild onions. And finally, just the last couple of these beet greens that we're thinning out so that the beets have plenty of space to grow big and fat and juicy. You can see that root. She wants to be something, but she's crowding the other ones. So we're going to make a delicious salad with her greens. All right, so let's review. We pulled up some radishes. We've got 4, and then I grabbed a couple more of the greens out just to beef it up. And then we have our 1 kale leaf, our basil here, our fennel, our mint leaves. That is such a special ingredient, and it's really just so experiential. You just have to go for it. Our chives, and then our earthy beet greens. So we've had some microgreen taste tests in the garden together, and we remember the beet greens are very earthy, the radish greens are very peppery, and again there's very earthy kale. So this is very earthy, and we need these herbs to brighten up the flavor. The fennel and the mint really add some sweetness. The basil and chives give a little bit of that savory, sharp flavor, so it picks up that earthy flavor. And let's put this together, and then we'll move on to the salad dressing, which is super healthy, so simple. You can probably make it with what's in your kitchen, and it picks up that flavor and brings it all together. Okay, starting first here with our greens. And I make my salad with just some scissors. So kale, in this particular salad, we're gonna cut the kale nice and thin. Okay. There we go. Kale greens, and then we'll move on to the radish greens. And let's connect a little bit. About a week ago or 2, we were talking about health, potatoes, and the bad rap that potatoes have. So we're going to do the same thing with the scissors. Cut it kind of thin. The bad rap that potatoes have because they make you fat. And we had a really rough, very frank conversation. And yes, food that is starchy and heavy makes us fat, but what really adds to our unhealthiness is our long game relationship with food. And that is the sermon, that is the satsang that I wish to have today while we prepare this delicious meal together. Because preparing meals together, connecting with your food in this way, by growing them, connecting with them, if you're not growing your food, just where are you getting them from, What's your mindset when you're walking through the grocery store, or maybe you have a farm that you go to. Just upscaling your acquisition of the food. That's the first step. But we're building a picture here. We're creating a model for health and how we relate to our food. First being acquiring the food. Bringing care to that, bringing curiosity and heart to where we get our food from, how we handle our food upon meeting it, right? Whether we get it out of the ground or pick it up off the grocer's shelf. There we go. Look at this spicy salad. The next is in preparing our food. Another thing that adds to our relationship with food. These are the beets, the beet greens. I'm just going to snip them down all the way to where I don't want to eat, which is somewhere where things start looking brown. Right there. Good. I love me a good quick meal. I love it when someone else cooks for me, but 99% of my food is cooked by me, is handled by me, so that I can be part of it, so that I can be part of that initiation, right? Our body actually begins its biological response to food, its ability to break down food upon the acquisition and the preparation of the food. So you can see the way if you go through a drive-through menu and you have never met your food or touched it or prepared it and you're about to put it in your stomach, the biological processes are not yet initiated as it's meant to be. On to the basil. Again, we're building our relationship with food here as a tool for staying healthy. Taking our herbs now, mint, chives, fennel, and basil, and shredding them up even smaller than our salad greens. Back to our conversation. We're always looking to improve our state of health and the way we participate with our health. And when that comes to food, we can flex our willpower, and that might get us through a sweet tooth urge here and there. But again, we're here for the long game and not just focus on health, but our participation with our life. Participation, our engagement, right? Like if you go to a dance, are you the person on the wall? Or are you the person on the dance floor? And regardless of your answer, right? We all want to be the one on the dance floor, even if we don't. We want to be that one busting out the moves. We want to be out here dancing with our life, engaging with our food, creating a relationship that is lasting and satisfying. Because at the end of the day, when you've had your hands in your food, and then you've eaten that meal that you came with curiosity for, and maybe even shared it with some loved ones, it's a tangible feeling at the end of the day. Lay yourself down and your body feels satisfied. It feels nourished, and that's what we're talking about, nourishment. Okay, there are all the greens. Beautiful. Let's move on to the radishes. Alrighty. So for the radishes, we are going to use a knife. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Buttery soft. That little snap and then give. So amazing. Last one. That's incredible. Let's just gather these up. Okay, now before I go any further and adding more things to the salad, I'm going to share with you guys an amazing salad dressing recipe on the topic of lower calories, right? It doesn't have any oil in it. We'll start with this honey mustard dressing. And you can see here I have about a half a bottle left, and that's when I like to take this and make it into a salad dressing. So we've got our honey mustard dressing, a little bit of honey. Yes, I'm aware there's honey in honey mustard. However, we are dealing with a pretty spicy, earthy blend of greens and vegetables. So the little extra added sweetness, and you'll see I don't add that much, is really helpful. Makes it delicious. And then finally, this is a cup of apple cider vinegar. Bragg's apple cider vinegar. And all we're gonna do is screw off the lid. See here, there's not that much honey, maybe a tablespoon. Ooh, it's nice and warm, so it's ready to spill out. Maybe I'll leave this out and see if our fuzzy bee wants any, because it's mostly gone. And then pour in the apple cider vinegar all the way almost almost all the way to the top. There you go. Put the lid on, and we're gonna shake it. It's nice and thoroughly mixed, and then just spread it on evenly. I like to let it drip like that rather than squirt it. It just keeps things a little more even. Just 2 more ingredients that I like to add for flavor and for a little bit of vitamin C. I'll add one of these mandarins. And we're gonna save the rind, and I'll share with you why in a moment. Just peel the mandarin. Oop. So we all know why do we eat? Why do we overeat? Why do we eat the wrong things? Because it feels so good in our mouth. It tastes so good to our mouth. So that's a real thing, right? That's part of our senses. That's part of being human. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to be really careful that we are not obeying our mouth when it comes to making decisions for our health and how to feed ourselves. Because here's the difference. Our mouth is where we actually have the experience of these foods. And nowhere else. Nowhere else. We might smell, we might taste, the texture and the flavor is during the time of chewing is the only time that we're actually having and enjoying junk food. And then when we swallow it, there's very little to no bioavailability. There is no life force. And it just sits in our stomach, and our body struggles to understand what to do with it, and it works very hard. You actually have no idea how much energy your body uses to digest food. And so when it works that hard, right? Think about it. If you work so hard and for nothing, you'd be a little upset. It works that hard to digest the food, break it down, assimilate it, try to get something out of it just to find out there's nothing in it. It creates a huge imbalance in the body and actually triggers more hunger. Okay. And raisins. Oh my God. Again, just adding some of those sweeter elements so that this whole salad comes together in a savory, delicious flavor. Okay, so the opposite, right? The opposite of that empty food is food that's filled with life force, filled with attention, filled with essence, and we can enjoy it, right? All the textures and flavors in this salad. And when we eat it, our body knows what to do with it. The bioavailability is there, and it can sustain. And that's what our body is asking for us. That's what our body is signaling to us regarding our relationship with food. Please give me things that actually do good for my body. Okay. What a great talk. I hope this has helped you. And look at this delicious salad. I'm so excited. But as promised, hang on to that orange rind because we are going to drop it in to a cup of hot, hot, hot water with some sage. We'll just rip that up again, open up those pores and veins. Citrus and sage tea. Oh, so good. Let that brew while we're eating our salad. And there it is, our delicious dinner made together. Discussing health, sitting around the fire of wisdom to gather together and make positive changes, support positive, healthy habits in our lives together. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let me know how you enjoyed this video, if any of it sparked any interest in you enough to make your own salad or salad dressing. I would love to hear about that. Blessings.